Understanding that has to happen between you and the offensive line, and running around in underwear doesn't help.
Off the play fake, the pass complete to Pittman. That he's becoming more of a vocal leader, even if he's not a vocal guy. And here's Taylor, gets toward midfield before he's... Play clock is at 4. He'll roll the pocket, and Ryan will run his way to a first down. He took a big hit.
They're not getting it because Derek Stingley's out there, which likely means it's a zone coming up behind this.
On 3rd down and 7, middle of the field, and a first down for the Colts. Ryan in the pocket underneath to Taylor, and Taylor will be shy of the first down, and we'll see it. Blankenship on for the 45-yarder, middle of the field. Good snap, good hold. Kick is on its way, and it is good. Mills out of the gun, has time, throws on the run, and it's incomplete. The Texans, he went to that elementary school, so many people were part of that with the Texans community. Hines is diving forward. First down inside the 41-yard line. Ryan off the play fake, zips one near side, pass is complete. Well, that was a pretty good pass play, and again, he was right on it. That was the 4th play of the drive. It's the first run of the drive. Jonathan Taylor, what a block that was. Taylor's going to love that one, and Taylor's out of bounds.
Great play design and call by the Indianapolis Colts.
Doolins in motion. Taylor again, right through the middle. Taylor inside the 20. And tackled inside the 15. This is the first 3rd down on this drive. The play clock is down to 5. On 3rd and goal from the 11. Ryan underneath to Hines inside the 5.
Matt Ryan is out wide. He's got a wildcat going on right now.
Yeah, Ryan's out to the left. And Hines is wrapped up and taken down in the backfield. Jonathan Grenard there to make the tackle. What a stop by the Texans.
In a little bit, but Grenard made an unbelievable play, not falling for any of the action that was happening in front of him, and just going for the running back.
And the pass complete on 1st down from Mills to Farrell Brown, the tight ends. He just checked in. Hairston in the backfield, little power formation for the Texans. Mills is hit as he throws. Cooks makes the catch and then breaks away. First 6 plays, Texans had 13 yards. The last 6 plays, they've had 44 yards. Pass complete underneath to Chris Moore. Moore makes one man miss. He needs to run a little bit more, don't you think, for the Eagles? I mean,
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I mean, he's a dynamic athlete. He's a winner in so many ways.
From the near hash mark, good snap, good hold. Kick is on its way, end over end, and it is good.
That's right.
24 plays for the Colts. Ryan 7 of 10 so far, shy of 100 yards. Pass is complete to Pittman, and he's got some daylight along the sidelines. Little motion for the Colts. The pitch to Taylor. He's going to get the first down and more. And Taylor lowers his shoulder. That's Hines in motion off the play fake. Ryan has it intercepted. Jerry Hughes picked it right out of the air with one hand and curled it across the 40-yard line. Did not raise a...
Mama raised no fools
That's
here,
right.
man.
2nd down and 12. Here's Mills. Mills going long, and his pass is incomplete, intended for Chris Moore, and our first flag of the day.
Pep Hamilton about Davis Mills, and he wants him to be smart with this throw.
Yeah, it's a gain of 33 on the penalty. Cooks to the near side. Mills looking toward the end zone. Pass is complete. Touchdown Texans. O.J. Howard, the veteran, just signed this week.
O.J. Howard, surprise.
Play clock is under 5. Ryan takes the snap to the middle of the field. Pass is complete to the middle of the field for Pittman. 37-year-old Matt Ryan. Still playing like a kid. Jerry Hughes takes him down. He almost took the football out of his hands.
Yeah, that's a strip sack by Jerry Hughes there. Braden Smith just got beat around the edge. Didn't want to get beat again.
3rd down and 18. Pittman can't hang on. It'll be 4th down. They're out of field goal range, I would think.
And now it's on Matt Ryan. He brings in accountability, but they're not having a lot of success.
And a flea flicker right out of the gate. He's got a wide open Cooks. He's there inside the 35-yard line.
Maybe you'll split one here or there, but it's also the versatility that Rex Burkhead gives you.
Texans are 3 of 6 on 3rd down. This one's a little farther than they would like, and they're going to be just shy of it. Good snap, good hold. Kick is on its way, and it is good. Out of the gun is Ryan. Next to him is Taylor. He'll take the handoff. Taylor bursts through the middle, sidesteps a tackler, stood up close to the 40-yard line.
It hasn't been as seamless, I think, as a lot of people thought it would be.
Here's Taylor. Taylor trying to find a seam, and he's down close to the 40-yard. Texans showing blitz. He fumbled the snap. It's down loose. And let's see who's got it. There is a flag down. The Texans have recovered. Roy Lopez fell on top of it. Christian Kirksey as well.
Plus 14. They're -2 today.
And Mills pass completes. Chris Moore. After a gain of 5, Mills looking to throw. Throws to the middle. Wide open O.J. Howard. His second score of the day. He wasn't even a Texan last weekend.
Play action pass when you can run the ball. Zone reads, things that nature.
That's Cooks in motion. Driscoll rolls away from the defender. He can run, trying to get the first down along the sidelines, and he stayed in bounds, got the first down. 8 straight completions by Mills make it 9 of sexual misconduct against him. Now at the Browns, he's suspended for the first 11 games. Mills throws one over the head of Cooks. He's at the bottom of your screen for the Colts on second down. Ryan throws to his left, has Pittman, his second target of this half. It's complete for first down in front of Petrie. First down from the 29. Ryan zips it along the numbers. Pass is complete. Under 14 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. Off the play fake. Mo Alley Cox, first down, cradling the football. On first down, Ryan steps up. He's hit as he throws. Doolin is open inside the 25. He was bracing himself for a hit. Ryan looking at the back of the end zone. He's got his man. Nope, incomplete. Doolin had it knocked away. Jonathan Owen. Colts have missed on the last 3 third downs. 3rd and goal from the 4. Ryan, he's in trouble. Throws toward the end zone, and it's incomplete, knocked away.
And Derek Stingley, this is why you draft Derek Stingley.
Good snap, good hold. Kick is on its way, and it's good. You know, high formation, Mills. He's pressure, got him coming. EJ Speed, he lost it. And the ball is recovered inside the 21-yard line. And let's see who comes out of the pile with it.
It looks like the Houston Texans fell on top of this one.
I think Burkhead fell on top of it.
It's actually...
they're going to say it's the Colts.
Coming in the season with only 300 or so snaps.
Play clock down to 3. They get it to Taylor, and Taylor into the end zone, spinning. Touchdown, Colts. It's a 1-score game.
Just like we thought. Brought a lot of the same concepts.
Play clock down to 1. Mills to the near sideline for Collins. It's incomplete.
Making it hard for Matt Ryan.
Taylor's in receiving mode. The pass is complete to the 35-yard line. Ryan hands it off to Taylor, and Taylor lowers his shoulder up to the 45-yard line again.
Now tomorrow, he's going to hurt, but
he'll take it again, and he's inside Texans territory.
When the linebackers, that second level drops into coverage.
2:40 to play. Taylor once again, and Taylor just carrying the Colts on his shoulders inside the 30 to the 29-yard line.
More of an H-back than he is a tight end.
And again, and Taylor sidesteps one defender, and inside the 20 to the 15.
The legs, I should say, of Jonathan Taylor. 7 carries, 63 yards.
Well, they fake it to him this time. They've got Pittman on a curl. Pittman inside the 5. Dives to the end zone. Touchdown, Colts. Michael Pittman has brought the Colts within 1.
But then again, you don't want to make it too loud for your own team.
Play clock down to 2. Now to 1. Mills gets the snap off. Pressure's coming. Throws near side, and it's... well, it may have been intercepted by Gilmore. Nope, they're going to say incomplete. He took it on a hop, but it's 4th down. From the 22. Underneath goes to Granson as tight ends. And he's up to the 35-yard line.
It is closed because it's 91 degrees outside.
On third down, Ryan underneath to Taylor. Taylor trying to get out of bounds and get the first down. He's short of it. Jordan, the tight end, in motion to the right side of the offensive line. Mills sets up in the pocket. Pocket's collapsing. He's going to go down. And Kwity Paye is going to be credited with that sack for the Colts. A third down and long. Mills. Pressure's coming, and he's going down again.
There's no reason for Davis Mills to take that sack.
Kwity Paye for the second time on this drive. Paris Campbell in motion off the play fake. Ryan spins away. He's going to run it. He doesn't run it a lot, but he ran it enough.
They'll be soft in the flats. Now they rotate here. This is likely a hole.
And there's a hole for Campbell. And Campbell in. Ryan, middle of the field, has Hines, and Hines is inside the 40-yard line. Pittman and Doolin off to the right. Campbell off to the left. As receivers, Ryan has Mo Alley Cox, and he dives forward to the 25-yard line.
And a first down.
They decide to run one more play on third down. They fake it to Taylor. Ryan's going to try to run it, and he dives forward. Oh, boy. Good snap, good hole. Kick is on its way. End over end. It is no good. Wow. Off to the right. So second down and 7. Mills near side. Cooks. He's got it. First down. They're not there yet. Pressure's coming. Mills just throwing it up for grabs. It's caught. How about that? Chris Moore came flying through the air and plucked it right on out of the air.
Lineman in the game, tight ends.
Yep.
You think you're running it here.
Moore in motion. They do run it to Burkhead. He's wrapped up and taken down. Grover Stewart knocks him back. It'll be fourth down. Ryan taps his foot, takes the snap, throws it underneath to Campbell. Campbell hesitating for a moment. Breaks one tackle. Now another. Still alive. And that will end the ball game. We will finish in a 20-20 tie in the opener of the 2022 NFL season.
After all that excitement, feels a little anticlimactic.